All right. So we've talked about using your income property to build your strategic Bitcoin reserve. And we've also talked about using real estate flips to accomplish the same goal of building the reserve. Now, how can we put that reserve to work in a different way? Okay. Most real estate investors rely on hard money lenders to purchase deals, fund flips, bridge loans till they can get bank financing on buy and holds. We have many tools on this website that we're building out and adding every day to figure out how to make deals work and underwrite deals for yourself. Okay. But hard money lending is a very lucrative part of the business if you do it right. So, what's a hard money lender? Basically, it's a guy with cash. That's it, right? So, you want to flip houses, you want to buy at auctions, you want to do these different projects. Banks aren't always amicable to loaning on those projects. So, what hard money lenders do is they come in and at a much higher rate, because of the risk that they're taking, they will loan money to investors to do these deals. Okay. A lot of experience with that, both sides of the coin. Fortified is well versed in this process. We can help you if you're a lender or you're looking for loans. Okay. So now we've built this Bitcoin strategic reserve. So what most lenders do is they'll have a real estate portfolio and they'll just get HELOCs against it. Right. Which is cool. Like your real estate's appreciating, you're loaning out the equity. Cool. But the Bitcoin strategic reserve process is we're using that same portfolio to fuel and build a Bitcoin reserve. So instead of handcuffing that portfolio with a ton of debt, why don't we take that Bitcoin reserve and borrow against that? And that's where things are going. I think we're about a year or two away from a lot of really good options. So there's some options that exist now. You can go to Strike. They have, it's a platform, it's like 12% the APR. You can borrow 50% of your collateral value. Not very good because when you're a hard money lender, you're loaning out at 12 to 16%. So you need that rate to come way down. Most HELOCs right now are probably in that 6 to 8% range, so there's about a 4% to 8% markup on the loan. I could see a place where Bitcoin in the next year or two with some really heavy hitter, powerful, reputable institutions will allow you to deposit your Bitcoin with them and in turn loan against it to give you that money. And then you can in turn take that money, loan it to real estate investors and mark up the difference. And I think we'll see a lot of pressure as rates come down. Now, remember, the number one rule in Bitcoin, not your keys, not your crypto. Okay. Anybody who lost money on FTX or Celsius with their lending platforms and the shenanigans that they did will tell you buyer beware. That's why I'm hesitant with Strike. Nothing against Jack Mallers. I'm just hesitant. So, but I could see a world where like Fidelity, BlackRock, your local bank, Bank of America, these are reputable institutions that aren't going to rehypothecate your Bitcoin and lose it. So I would feel a lot more comfortable doing it that way. Okay. So if you got a stack of Bitcoin, say you got 10 Bitcoin stacked up, that's about $1 million today. You deposit that with one of these institutions, get a loan against it at 6%, say, you loan out half of it, it's $500,000. That can start funding flips. You're generating income on that, plus the points up front, and it just goes back into the pot and keeps going. And the pot is still growing because you're using your portfolio that normally you would take a HELOC against, or your ongoing flips that you're doing yourself or whatever else you have, and you're feeding that Bitcoin reserve. So you're getting your cake and you're eating it too. And I think that's the way that this could work. You know what I mean? And it's an insane strategy that no one's thinking about, right? And that's what all these different companies that are coming out now with Bitcoin treasuries and stuff like that. This is the market they're trying to crack. And the Trump administration is very positive to these types of developments. They want this industry in America. So I'm very confident in the next year or two, this will be a thing that you can really do. So what do you do today? You work with us, right? We'll get you set up. We'll get everything dialed in. We'll run some numbers for you, try to figure out, what you can really make on this individualized to you. Get all your ducks in a row. If you need to acquire some Bitcoin to build a reserve, we'll get that process going. And then once you're ready to loan it out, and people approach you and they want to pitch you on deals, that's where we come in. We can underwrite your deals. We can vet them for you. We can inspect the construction as it's ongoing on your behalf, right? Make sure that your disbursements, that you should actually be dispersing that money to the investor. We have a great team of attorneys that can write awesome, loan documents and make sure that the liens are right in case you ever have to foreclose, because that's the danger as an investor. A lot of these hard money lenders didn't realize they were making these crazy loans and ended up foreclosing, and that costs a lot of money, and it's time, takes a lot of time and resources. So we're going to help you mitigate all of that because we have a lot of experience in that field, setting you up. And within the next year or two, I really see a path in America that you can actually implement this strategy. So now you got your real estate portfolio working for you. You got your lending business working for you. It's all feeding into this asset of Bitcoin that's growing 50% a year historically on average, right? Just insane. How do you supercharge the gains, man? Like, that's the way. All right. So if this is intriguing to you and you want to learn more and you want to sit down and talk with a real estate / Bitcoin expert like myself, I'd love to connect. All right. Reach out, click the link on the website. The phone number's in the description. Let's make it happen for you guys. Thanks.